Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week Wisdom and Legacy Building podcast. This is day 416 of our trek, and today is Wisdom Wednesday. Every Wednesday along life's trail, we dig for the nuggets of wisdom that are found in the book of Proverbs. Today, we'll explore the first half of chapter 17. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We had planned on driving up to Marietta on Sunday, but some medicine we were waiting to be shipped to Paula's mom did not arrive till Monday, so we delayed our plans by one day. Fortunately, we did not have anything pressing on Monday, so we left after the mail arrived with her medicine. When we do travel on the weekdays, it does require that Paula drives so that I can continue my work providing remote software support for one of our clients. There is fairly good data coverage most of the trip, so I am able to stay connected and work as we travel. After making a quick stop for a few groceries, we arrived home about 8 p.m. It does look like the lawn needs mowed, so I'll have to work that in this week, along with a little bit of exterior trim that I need to finish up while we're here at the Big House at this time. With a house of this size and age, there's always some project that needs completed, but we will work them in when it is possible and certainly strive to enjoy our time while doing so. But it is now time to head out on our trail for today to discover more nuggets of wisdom that are found in the book of Proverbs. We will dig through the first 14 verses of chapter 17, and the title for today's trek is extracted from verse 9, and it starts out with the words, "Love prospers." So let's get started with verse 1. Better a dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with feasting and conflict. In this verse, Solomon reiterates the concept that he introduced previously. It is much better to have very little to eat and a house filled with love for each other than a house filled with food, but conflicts with family and friends. Now, if you've ever eaten a scrap of dried crust, you know how tasteless and non-filling it is. But if you are sharing it with those that you love and are at peace with, then it is special. Contrary to this is having plenty to eat, but the meal times are not enjoyable because of the conflict in the family. Verse number 2, a wise servant will rule over a master's disgraceful son, and will share in the inheritance of the master's children. Now, a faithful and wise servant or employee will gain favor with the master or the business owner, even to the point where they could receive a share of the inheritance or the company profits. This would certainly be considered if the children disgraced their parents or were wasteful of what the master or the owner worked so hard to obtain. Verse number 3, fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord tests the heart. Now, if you've ever observed how gold and silver are purified, it is by melting them at an extremely high temperature and then waiting for the impurities that are mixed into gold and silver to come to the surface so that they can be skimmed off. These impurities are considered dross. In the same way, we may have to go through the fires of tribulations and hardship so that God can purge that which is impure from our lives. Now, you should not shun this, but welcome it as a part of your maturing process. Verse number 4. Wrongdoers eagerly listen to gossip. Liars pay close attention to slander. The person who enjoys and shares in the gossiping about others is just plain doing wrong. We should minimize our exposure with this type of person. A person who enjoys to listen to and then spread gossip is a slanderer. We should not take advice from these type of people. The fact is, when you're not around, they're probably slandering you. Verse number 5. Those who mock the poor insult their maker. Those who rejoice at the misfortune of others will be punished. God does have a deep abiding love for all of us, and especially for those who are poor because of their misfortune. We should never take advantage or insult those who are less fortunate than we are. We should never rejoice if someone falls on hard times, but instead always be looking for ways to help and assist those who are struggling. We really do not know the problems that most people are experiencing or going through. Verse number 6. Grandchildren are a crowning glory to the age. Parents are the pride of their children. Now, as a gramps of 6 grandchildren so far, I can personally testify that grandchildren are indeed a crowning glory. It is such a blessing to be able to share with them and invest time with them. In the same way, we as parents should live in such a way that our children are proud of who we are and what we've accomplished, especially when it is in reference how we raise them and how we love them unconditionally. Verse number 7. Eloquent words are not fitting for a fool, even less are lies fitting for a ruler. When you think of someone who is foolish, you do not expect them to speak articulately or persuasively, since that would be very out of character for them. It is even a more serious situation when someone who is in a position of authority is a person who also lies. It appears that most politicians of today don't follow this advice. Verse number 8. A bribe is like a lucky charm. Whoever gives one will prosper. Solomon is not condoning bribery in this verse. He is just stating a fact. why we do not experience bribery quite as blatantly in the United States as we hear about in some other countries. If you think about all the lobbyists that influence the making of our laws, it is evidence that it does flourish, even in our country. The person who accepts a bribe enriches themselves, and the person giving the bribe received what they needed also. Verse number 9, love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. It is much better to forgive when someone does us wrong. When we are willing to forgive and love, then the friendship will prosper. If we choose not to, we will end up separating the friendship and both of us will be miserable. This is true in marriages and close friendships. Be willing to forgive the faults of others. Verse number 10, a single rebuke does more for a person of understanding than 100 lashes on the back of a fool. A person who is willing and receptive to learning is a person of understanding. It does not take strong instruction for them to continue to learn because they know that this is how they become wise and gain more knowledge. Contrary to this is a fool who is not easily persuaded. They could be severely reprimanded, but will feel it's always someone else's fault. Verse number 11, evil people are eager for rebellion, but they will be severely punished. A person with wicked and evil intents will also have a rebellious nature in them. They are more interested in themselves than others. If they continue on this path, their selfishness and pride will eventually be their downfall. Verse number 12, it is safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a fool caught in his foolishness. One of the most dangerous creatures that you can confront is a mother bear whose cubs have been taken from her. She is very protective and will fight off any humans or animals to preserve her cubs. Even in a situation that is so dangerous, Solomon tells us that a fool who is found out is worse than a mother bear. Verse number 13, if you repay good with evil, evil will never leave your house. This verse once again goes back to the principle of planting and harvesting. If you plant evil, especially as a repayment for good, then you will harvest continual evil. And verse number 14, starting a quarrel is like opening a floodgate, so stop before a dispute breaks out. It is never wise to start a quarrel. There is just no good result that can come from it. It's like adding gasoline to a fire. It won't put the fire out, but it will cause it to grow and spread. When you find yourself in a volatile situation, keep your mouth closed and listen to the other person. There are no winners in an argument because everyone loses. The nuggets of wisdom that we've gathered in these 14 verses of Proverbs chapter 17 provide us more tasty morsels of wisdom, insight, and understanding. Take them and plant them in your heart so that you'll reap a harvest of goodness. Tomorrow we will hike on another short trail of Wisdom Unplugged, where we will discover an inspirational wisdom quote. So encourage your family and friends to join us and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. That will finish our trek for today. Just as you enjoy these daily doses of wisdom, we ask you to help us to grow Wisdom Trek by sharing it with your family and friends through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person when you meet with them, and invite them to come along with us each day. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks, they are available at wisdom-trek.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom Trek so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com, and thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor. But most importantly, I am your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.